Welcome to the intriguing and dangerous world of the first assassins. In this video, we will peek into the lives of these professional killers, untangling the web of secrets that surround their existence. It's a journey through time, tracing the origin, evolution, and legacy of a profession that thrived in the shadows, shaping the course of history with silent, deadly precision. Subscribe for more episodes on the dark chapters of history, here on Night Tales. The term assassin is derived from the Arabic hashashin, referring to the members of a secretive Islamic sect around the 11th to 13th centuries. These were the times of the Crusades, a period rife with conflict and political instability, providing fertile grounds for this profession to flourish. The first recorded instance of an organized assassination can be traced back to the 1st century BCE. In ancient Rome, Brutus, Cassius, and their co-conspirators orchestrated the notorious assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BCE, altering the course of Roman history. While this wasn't the work of professional assassins, it does showcase the earliest traces of strategic killing for political purposes. However, the birth of the professional assassin originated in the rugged mountains of Persia amidst the political and religious upheaval of the 11th century. Hassan Sabbah, the founder of the Hashashin sect, ingeniously adapted to the socio-cultural circumstances of his time. Sabbah harnessed the prevailing socio-religious discontent, indoctrinating his followers with the promise of spiritual rewards while training them in the deadly arts. This unique blend of religious fanaticism and cold-blooded professionalism established the foundation for modern assassination tactics. As history progressed, socio-political conditions such as unstable monarchies, religious conflicts, and territorial disputes further fueled the growth of this dark profession. It is under these circumstances, steeped in danger and secrecy, that the lethal art of assassination was born and perfected. The secretive world of the recruitment and training reveals a profound layer of the danger and seclusion that affected their lives. The selection process of an assassin was highly rigorous, adding an element of danger even before their training started. They were often young men, preferably orphans, chosen for their impressionability and familial ties. This enabled their complete immersion into the world of covert operations, making their lives secluded by design. The infamous Hashashin of the 11th century, for instance, were known to recruit from their own community. Historical records mention boys as young as 12 being chosen for their potential and then ripped from their lives for intense training. This child is subjected to not just extreme physical conditioning, but also mental and emotional manipulation to create the perfect killer. Once recruited, the training regimes these young men underwent were brutal and unsettling. They were schooled in various martial arts, but excelled in the use of deadly weapons, stealth tactics, and disguise techniques. To enhance their survival skills, they were exposed to harsh environments and endurance tests, making each day a potential battle for life. Yet, the true hallmark of an assassin's training lay not in their physical strength, but in their psychological conditioning. Their minds were manipulated and their emotions suppressed to master the art of killing without remorse. Sabbah's Hashashins were taught to view their targets as enemies of their faith, thus justifying their killings. They were often kept under the influence of mind-altering drugs, isolating them from reality and keeping them loyal to their cause. This lethal combination of selective recruitment, rigorous training, and psychological conditioning forged assassins who were deadly, loyal, and detached from the world. Their life of constant danger and the psychological toll it brought led to a highly secluded existence, a touching testament to their chilling legacy. Another fascinating dimension of the life of the early assassins is their unique and often complex culture. At the core, there was a strict code of conduct and deeply ingrained symbols and traditions. The code of conduct was a paradox. A firm commitment to their cause was demanded, often at the cost of personal desires and emotions. The creed, the ends justify the means, often prevailed. Yet sometimes ethical lines would blur when it came to finishing their mission. This conflict presented a constant moral danger, further excluding them from societal norms. The secretive nature of their society was an essential survival tool. The Hashashin of the 11th to 13th centuries operated from remote mountain fortresses, maintaining an impenetrable veil of secrecy around their activities. Their locations were deliberately chosen for strategic advantages, like the Alamut fortress in Persia. It served not only as a refuge, reinforcing their seclusion, but also as a training ground to perfect the art of execution. The lethal skill of assassination required the use of specialized weapons, sophisticated espionage tactics, and meticulous planning. Assassins wielded a diverse array of weapons, each chosen to maximize damage and ensure a successful kill. In the Middle Ages, the preferred weapon of assassins were often daggers or short swords, due to their stealth. Historical records recount the Hashashin using a specially crafted dagger called jambiya for their missions. However, their expertise extended to the use of poison, a subtler and equally deadly alternative, but also black powder, a slightly louder option for extreme situations. Beyond weapons, assassins were also skilled in espionage and intelligence gathering, an essential facet of their skill set. They often disguised themselves, blended into their target's surroundings, and patiently collected information critical to their mission. This skill set not only increased their operational danger, but also necessitated a life of constant disguise and acting. Perhaps the defining aspect of the art of assassination is the meticulous planning and execution involved in making the perfect kill. From studying the target's routines to finding the optimal moment to strike, every detail was meticulously studied, even months ahead of time. Their flawless execution highlighted their professional danger, but also their isolation, as they existed almost entirely within the realm of their deadly mission, never truly integrating normal society. One of the most famous people from the Hashashin was Rashid ad-Din Sinan, also known as the Old Man of the Mountain. He was a leader of the Hashashin in Syria during the 12th century and was known for his smart strategies and toughness. One of his most well-known targets was Conrad of Montferrat, the King of Jerusalem, who was killed by two of Sinan's assassins in 1192. This job showed the huge danger the assassins faced, because they managed to kill a king who was protected by his royal guards. They were conscious that they would probably die doing this. For them, it was their faith that justified this ultimate sacrifice. But life of an assassin wasn't always about successful kills. There were also times when jobs didn't go as planned and the consequences were serious. An extreme example of this happened in 1256, when the Mongols attacked Alamut, the Hashashin stronghold. This failure led to the end of the Hashashin Empire, a harsh end to the dangerous life they already lived. The risky life of the first assassins didn't just focus on completion of the missions. They had everyday habits and were facing constant danger, all while looking for ways to cope with the stress of trying to stay alive. In their daily life and habits, they always trained, stayed fit, and kept getting better at their skills. Historical writings tell us that even when times were peaceful, assassins would still practice fighting, sneaking around and finding out secrets. This constant readiness kept them ready for the danger they were always in. However, this brought them face to face with many dangers and challenges. They could fail, get hurt, die, or even get caught and tortured. During the 13th century, many Hashashin were caught and killed by Mongol invaders. They had no mercy as they saw the Hashashins as cowards who fought from the shadows. To a Hashashin's dangerous life, finding ways to cope with the stress of trying to stay alive was very important. They would isolate themselves a lot. Some even followed a deep spiritual practice because they thought they would go to paradise for doing so as a reward for their actions and commitment to the faith. They used training to relieve stress and used relaxing substances such as hashish to keep a sane and strong mind when dealing with violence. After exploring the dangerous world of the first assassins, what would you say if you were asked to live a similar life like the ones lived by the Hashashins in the Middle Ages? Your answer will probably be no thank you, which is normal considering that the first assassins not only dealt with danger from outside the organization, but also from the inside. Internal fights and betrayals were common in the lives of these assassins. Even with the Hashashin, there were struggles for power and disagreements. Historical writings from the 13th century tell us about fights within their own group, leading to the killing of members of their own order. No one was truly safe. On top of that, an assassin was always a target for revenge from the family or friends of their victims. The risk of vengeful violence was always there, and avoiding being caught and killed was a constant struggle. The fall of the Hashashin came when the Mongols attacked in 1256, which was the biggest threat the assassins ever faced in 300 years. Living as an assassin in the Middle Ages needed an amazing ability to handle constant danger, from both inside and outside their group. Considering the very hard physical and mental demands of their job, along with the constant dangers, it's safe to say that someone from today, accustomed to a very different and comfortable lifestyle, would probably find it almost impossible to survive as a middle-aged Hashashin. From their tough training to their dangerous jobs and complex culture, the old assassins lived lives constantly on the brink of survival. But maybe it's the idea that we couldn't survive in their place that really shows us how hidden and dangerous their lives were. And that's all we have for you today. So, do you think you could live as an assassin from the Middle Ages? Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to Night Tales for more fascinating content. We'll be back soon.